Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode on the CodeX channel called CodeX Slab. And I like to say it's episode number 2. So I am Sal the Slab Guy. With me as always, I got Wes the Rebel Scum. And down below is Tim the Terrible. How you guys doing today?
Very good. Very
Awesome.
good.
Yourself, sir?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you very much. So today we're going to talk about slab books, the how-tos, the what we have, what we could do, how to sell, how to store, how to buy. But today we're going to cover the grading companies. And I'm going to be covering CBCS. Rebel Scum's going to be covering CGC. And Tim the Terrible, he's got PGX and EGS, that new kid on the block.
There you go.
But before we get into all that, we got to take a word from our sponsor, WGG. And I believe we've got a commercial for that. Tim, why don't you hit that commercial for us?
Absolutely.
All right, guys, check out our sponsor and partner, Dubby Energy. That's Dubby.gg if you guys want to go find more of this product. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is my first time actually trying it. We did get it. Me and Sal actually did get it about a few days ago. This is my first time using it. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is the most energy I've ever had on one of these episodes. I am not lying. I've been bouncing in my chair. This is the cleanest form of an energy drink you will find on the market. Trust me when I say that. There's no jitters, there's no angst, there's nothing but pure energy drinking this. Right now, I'm drinking the Dragonade, and it is phenomenal. No bad aftertaste like most of those energy drinks that you find out there. So, guys, definitely go check out Dubby, and that's Dubby.gg for more. And use the code word code-X at checkout and save yourselves 10% on your order and purchases. And if you don't believe me, let's hear from Sal himself, who doesn't even like energy drinks.
Okay, I'm going to say this. I never liked energy drinks. I was always too jittery. The crash was terrible after them, and the taste was also horrible on lots of those. So I stayed away from them. But now I've tried this one, and I'm telling you, there was no jitters. There was no crash. It tasted great. There was no bad aftertaste. I love this energy drink. This is a good thing to have, and I'm definitely going to buy some more. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. WGG. Check them out. Use the code word and save 10%. Now, let's get into grading companies. Well, Scum, you got us a grading company. Why don't you tell us?
CGC.
Yeah.
The almighty. The OG. The original gangsta. So that's what I've got. CGC today. So we'll talk about a few things. But I think first thing I think a lot of people want to know is why choose CGC? Pros and cons. Why not choose CGC? Some of the pros and cons, I mean, there's a bunch, but we'll just cover a few. Number one, for me, these are all opinions, of course. For me, is I like their label better, right? I've mentioned it before in other episodes and things is why I choose CGC over CBCS. And one of them is simply I like the label better. So I'll pull one up here just for an example. All right. So if you can see there, this is a CGC label. You got your very nice bold grade here. White pages gives you the artist, all that good stuff, who was involved in the book, right? Over here, generally speaking, you probably can't read it, but if your book is of any key significance, it'll have the first appearance of, the first cameo of, the whatever the significance of that book is, even if it's just, and it's not a key, okay, a Doctor Doom appearance, or something along those lines. That's where it'll be, right there. Unless, of course, you have the custom label, which CGC also offers. So there's another pro, which are really cool. I don't prefer them, but that's a whole separate thing. I think they're cool looking. I just don't do it because what it does is it removes this and then puts it on the back. And that's not a big deal. It's cool. It's not a big deal. But for me, it's just a personal preference. But that's a pro. So that's what the label looks like. And I really like it. It pops. It's good things like that. They offer different labels, but we'll get into that on another show, I'm sure. Let's see. Another pro would be, for me, actually not for me, a fact is that the resale value of CGC generally is anywhere between 10 and 30% higher than your average CBCS book. And That is a fact. That's not an opinion. Anybody, even CGC haters, will admit to that. Another pro, recently, CGC has really increased their turnaround times. Whereas this time last year, you send a book off, and it's I'll see you a year from now.
Yeah.
Now, right now, we're looking at, and currently, it is the current turnaround time for modern submission is 20 days.
Wow.
Working days, 20 working days.
And I can confirm that.
Yeah, and I can as well. So you can choose to fast track from that. That's an additional cost, which I'll cover here in a second. So if we want to talk about costs with CGC, we're looking at $24 a book for modern. Let's just assume everything's modern from this point on, because we go into all the tiers, which we will eventually sometime. But a modern book from 1975 until today, that is considered their modern tier. Their modern tier book, $24 submission. Now, that's a 20 working day turnaround, right, guys? So that is okay with me. You can choose to spend an extra $15 per book and get it back in 10 working days. Now, for me, 20 is fine, because I'm kind of gun shy from last year, right? I know the grass isn't greener. So I'm happy with the 20 days. So why am I going to spend the extra 15? Now, I would spend the extra 15 for the fast track if I had a buyer and he wanted it yesterday. Maybe. But beyond that, for me, the 20-day is good, because you don't want to be putting too much money into these books, especially ones that are maybe only barely worth your time to send in, or maybe you're only sending it in because you have the cool cover and it's only worth $40 graded at a 9.8, or you don't want to do that, right? That's just, I think that's common sense. That's just common sense. But let's say you've got a Batman 232, the first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, and you've got a buyer, and you've got a copy that's worth that might come back as like a 9.0 or something, and that sucker's $1,000 book, or $800 or $900 book, and he wants it yesterday, and he's leaving town in 2 weeks. Yeah, you do the fast track. Really good things versus the other companies is their customer service, and I can attest to this. I've called in because I've had a problem. I had to do a reslab, or I had to. They actually messed up they've messed up a couple of my submissions. Well, by God, every time you call, you get somebody, and they're going to work with you. Now, you might not always get the outcome you desire, but by God, they at least act like they care, right? And that's important. That's really important for me when it comes to, hey, I've got a book out that's, you guys screwed up or whatever, which brings me to some cons. CGC is known for screwing up a little bit. You'll send in a submission, and you'll get 2 books back and the labels are flip-flopped. Now, these are rare occurrences. I've never had that happen to me, and I've submitted almost over 100 books now. I've had a couple, scuffs on the cases. The Newton rings, I think they've really actually done I think they've really
They've eliminated those.
It doesn't seem to happen anymore, so that's good.
Right.
CGC, if we're talking about CGC in March of 2023 versus CGC in March of 2022, they're 2 totally different companies. They really are. And at least as far as the quality control is concerned, and their turnaround times. So I almost struggled to find something negative to say about them. And really, if I find something negative to say, I'm kind of really just nitpicking at this point. I have had issues in the past. I really have. I've had to resubmit, not reholder. They call it a mechanical error. If like you have something come back and, hey, I'm pretty sure that this came back in like 2 weeks and you did not press this. So I had to send it back as a mechanical error, and they're like, "Yep, you're right. We didn't send it to CCS," which I no longer use. But again, another subject for another day. But really, I haven't had really any issues other than some scuff marks here or there. That's kind of an issue. But I have seen some horror stories on some of these other, Facebook sites and websites and forums that I follow. Fortunately, it has never happened to me, knock on wood, but they are out there. But I think that's also with any grading. Yeah, knock on wood. Speaking of which, I apologize in advance for wearing my New York Yankees hat. I am not a Yankees fan, guys. I am.
Why are you wearing a hat?
You might have noticed in the other shows I'm wearing a Oakland Athletics hat.
Much better team.
And you're like, why is a guy from Knoxville, Tennessee, and originally from Mississippi wearing an Oakland A's hat? Well, this is my son's T-ball team. So as his T-ball team changes every season, this will change too. So no offense to any of you Mets fans or, any of that stuff. Braves fan myself. I was hoping this year, but he wasn't. So, so now I got to sport this. So
that is not a 9.8 trade right there.
This is not a 9.8 trait. However, my
you didn't send it a good press, did you?
Yeah. Huh? Yeah.
You didn't send it for a press, did you?
Yeah. Let's see. What am I missing, guys? Like cost of grading. I did time frames coming back.
Let me ask you this, because this is going to work into my segment for CBCS. Signatures. You only do verified signatures or in-house signatures.
Thank you.
They don't verify.
Yes.
So what happens if I send a book that's been signed?
You are going to get that nasty purple label, and that is you're going to get the qualified grade, right? So if you, for those that are watching who don't, there you go. That's the green label. That's the green label, meaning there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, or there's ink on the cover.
Right. Isn't it a purple label for CGC for the signature?
I thought it was purple. I thought it was purple for the.
I honestly, guys, I had a Infinity Gauntlet #1 a long time ago, signed by Stanley and George Perez. It came back as a green label.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's green on cover.
Okay. Well, whatever it is, it's going to come back as that qualified grade, which is just it. In the world of grading comics, I don't want to call it an eyesore. It definitely sticks out as like, oh, there's something wrong. Oh, okay, never mind. And that affects the value, unfortunately. So if you have a signature book, a book that is signed by an artist, a celebrity, whomever, CGC, and it was not witnessed by CGC, CGC is not the route to take.
Yeah.
CGC is really hurting in that area. And you know what? I wouldn't bet on them to not change that pretty soon. Because that is, to me, the only thing that CBCS has on CGC. From what I understand. Now, I am not a CBCS guy, so I could be very wrong. Sal's going to speak to that. And I look forward to learning, and I hope you guys too. But if you guys ever have any questions, submit it. Write it in the chats. Like, hey, what about this? How do I do this? Create an account for CGC. Create an account for CBCS. That's the other thing. Last thing. When you create an account with CGC, it's very easy, by the way. Their website is very user-friendly. You're going to pay, let's say, for a 1-year subscription. It's $100 and something bucks. I don't remember now. They literally credit you that, almost all of that, towards your next sending books in, right? So you get your first year for free, just about. Nice. And so that's really neat. Now, I don't know if CBCS does that, but CGC definitely does that, and that's really cool. So, but if I'm forgetting anything, let me know. But other than that, I'll turn it over to Sal, and he's going to cover CBCS, why to use them, why not, what's cool about them, what sucks, and we'll go from there.
All right. Thanks, Rebel Skull. I appreciate that.
Sorry if I started rambling.
No problem. You're fine. Always good information on CGC.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of what I'm going to say here is going to mimic what Rebel Scum has said, and that's really the boils down difference between CBCS and CGC is that signature and that signature verification process. It's huge, and I'll get into it. But I got one right here, and I will show you. This is my most recent back. I actually bought this. I did not send it in, but as you can see, it is a signature verified. Let me see if I can get that up there.
Yep.
So right along here, it actually says witness signature.
Nice.
And the person that signed it, and then of course the date. So over here, you got your grade, not as bold as CGC, but still pretty good. Still very visible to the eye. And then here you got your book info, and artist and story and stuff like that. And of course on the back, you got your little right here, the QR code, which you're supposed to be able to scan to see any creators notes if they're available.
Yeah.
Okay. So as far as quality wise, the CGC box and the CBCS casings, I'll say, are very similar. CGC does a little bit different, especially with the labels, and I'll talk about the labels here in a second. But their casing is a little bit different at the top, you might say. So there's that with that.
In your opinion, Sal, whose case seems more sturdy?
You know what? I've seen both cases where they've been equal, and I've seen cases where one was better than the other, and it's been flip-flop. Sometimes a CGC case comes in loose. I can hear it, and I just kind of press the corners and it clicks.
Click, click, click. Yeah.
And everything's hunky-dory, and I've seen that on both sides. So I can't really say what's up.
Oh, with the one CGC book that I have, the case,
CBCS.
The one CBCS book that I have, the case feels lighter than the CGC case, but it feels more durable.
It might be, but I think that might be. Is it an older book? Just questioning.
I think so. Okay. It's an older label.
Yeah. So in the earlier days, I think their cases were a little bit lighter. Right now, I think they're about the same quality-wise. Just the case quality level, I think they're about the same.
Let me see if I got it here.
Okay, check it out. See if you got it.
Yeah, I got it right here. As a matter of fact.
All right.
So let me
show us really quick, and then I'll get into the signatures. Yeah, those are the old blue labels. Yep. Which I've got several of those as well. Probably should have pulled one down, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I will say about CBCS, I do enjoy that. Well, that's not very old. It's got the QR code on the back.
It does.
I think that's been there nearly since the beginning, though.
Okay, so that's something then. So CBCS or CGC just recently started doing that. So that's something that CBCS had for a long time. So that's good.
So Tim, at the top, your code, your slab certificate code. Yep. What's the first two digits?
19.
So it was encased in 2019.
Wow, that long ago. Okay.
Oh, see, that is a neat, quick reference that I had no idea about.
That is
very cool.
And I don't know what the other numbers really stand for, other than the last three digits. So the first two numbers are the year that the book was actually slabbed. Mm-hmm. The middle two are some type of identification process, but the last three are I want to say not what you had in the badge, but let's say you sent off 3 books. And for example, on this one, the last 3 digits here is 090. So if I sent off 3 books, I would get 090, 091, 092.
This is 004.
Okay, so that was probably the 4th one in whatever submission process that person did.
All right.
Okay.
Interesting.
More information in the code. That's interesting.
There you go. little ins and outs that you learn about. So CBCS, like CGC, has different tiers. They actually have their new books as 2001 to present, and they've got the 30-day, the 20-day, and the 10-day. And the prices, of course, go up from $22 to $40 for the 10-day, the turnaround time. Now, that's for a max declared value of $1,000. So if you're sending in 10 books and you declared the value to be $600, then you're at that top level or the cheapest tier for the 30, 20, and 10-day charging. Let's say you send in 100 books and your max declared value is 4,000 or over 4,000, but under 7,000. The prices go up a little bit for the 20 and the 10-day. there is no 30-day turnaround for those declared values of that value. Now, there's one more level of this, and that's for a value of $7,000 or more, and they only offer the 10-day express, which is now $80 per book.
Wow.
Okay. So as you look at their site, they have the same type of cadence. They're moderns. They consider moderns from 1975 to 2000, and they run the same gambit of declared value of 1,000, 4,000, 7,000, and prices going up accordingly. Anything that's pre-1975, they call vintage. And of course, the price is a little bit higher again, but not terribly hard. The 20-day is a $40 turnaround. The max declared values of 4,000 is 70-day for 15 days. And 7,000, of course, is $140. That's kind of a big leap, but that's what they have right now. So they have different values or different encapsulation processes for different values of books and what you're looking for. So they have that variety, I think, which is pretty cool. They do not require a membership, but you can buy one to get a discount. And I don't know what it is top of my head. I would have to look it up. They give you like a 10% off discount of your books if you're actually a paying member of the site. But you do not need to have a membership fee to submit books. You just have to have an account, register for free on their site, and you can submit books all live long day. They also do where they do witness signature only. They're not giving you a grade. They're just giving you this witness signature is true. They also do original art. Now, if they just wanted to slab it, I'm assuming this with no grade, that's like $18. So they could slab it for you if you wanted to preserve it. They also do reholdering, just like CGC. If they ship it to you and it's broken, or if you buy one off of eBay from this guy named Rebel Scum or something like that, and it comes to you broken because he doesn't pack that well, you could send it to them and they will reholder it for $12. Okay, so they have that. So let me dig a little bit into the signature process now. So they have, similar to CGC, they have in-house signing events, or they have special events where they have artist A or whatever, Joe Smith. He's going to be signing books. You can send your book to them. He signs it. They grade it, and the signature will come back as like this witness signature. Okay, like this one, my Delato book. Okay. Now let's say you buy one off of eBay, or buy a raw, or you go buy a storage unit and you got a ton of comic books and you're going through them, and boom, you got a Stan Lee signed book. Jackpot, So you can actually send that in and have it signature verified. Now, when they come back, they'll give you, it's a little bit, the label's still yellow, but it will say signature verified as opposed to witness signature. Okay, so that's still.
I wonder what that does to the value. The difference between witness signature.
I was about to say that. I don't think it does anything to the value, because if you think about it, a witness signature and a verified signature are on the same level.
Okay. Yeah,
if you think about it.
I was just curious. I was like, that just popped in my. I'm like, what? I wonder if, which one holds,
right. So
or if it's the same. Yeah.
Let's say you got that Stan Lee book that you found in that storage unit. You send it off, say verify this, and it was a forgery or a fake. They'll let you know about it, and you can say, yeah, don't slab it, send it back to me. Sure. And now you've got a book that's been scribbled on by some 30-year-old that says Stan Lee. Which is a great talking piece, if you ask me.
Yeah. So like the Angry Girlfriend slabbed book.
Angry Girlfriend.
Oh my gosh.
Which I would buy that in a heartbeat if I had the money.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if you can see it. Let me take this one down really quick. If you guys give me 1 second, I can do it here. I have this old Superman one, which I did a verified signature, and it's got the red label.
Ooh.
Okay. This is how they used to do verified signatures, with the red label. And this is an Alex Ross, but I kept it. I could send it in. They were replacing it free of charge to do the, to go to the yellow one, but I kept it because it's red. Superman's red. It
looks
goes
cool.
together for me. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see if I can get that. There we go. That's a better picture of it.
That's great. And I love the red line across the top. That looks awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and this looks exactly like the other labels that do, but they don't do the line, of course, across the top now.
Yeah.
But this is exactly like, and it even has the QR code as well.
Yep.
If there was any notes available. And
what's the number year on yours?
Yeah, what's the first two numbers there?
17.
Okay.
Ooh.
2017.
So that was a recent change.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So also want to point out, like, does give the pertinent information or the key of the book. First appearance of Galactic Golem, Death of Draxomite, Priest Elders, Paragon appearance. So they still list all the pertinent key information on this as well. So in that sense,
yeah.
Good.
No. Go
What's
ahead.
up? Oh,
Well,
I was going to say,
say,
I think they're very okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so that's kind of like a shortcoming for CGC is, like you said, the signature verification, but kind of a shortcoming for CBCS is, and it would be so cool is if they offered those custom labels.
Yes, which they do not offer.
Yeah,
they don't offer any custom labels whatsoever, and I think they should, because
they need to get some DC stuff. CGC doesn't offer DC. Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyways, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. That's okay.
I got you off track there.
It's okay. Not a problem. So if they also offer pressing, okay, for same time frames, new and moderns, they have them from 75 to 2000 and 2001 to present, and they say their turnaround times are 20, 15, and 12 days.
For pressing,
want to go that route? For the new and moderns, that's what they say.
Okay.
I've never done pressing. Okay, I'm going to say this right now. I've never done pressing. I have not pressed one book. I would love to get a pressing machine myself and try it, but I've never sent it off to be pressed and then to be graded.
Oh.
Okay.
So all your books that are graded behind you have never been pressed?
As far as I know. Now, I may have bought them. I may have bought them like this.
Well, but books you have sent out, you just send them out raw as is, and what they come back as is what
Roll
they come
the dice,
back as.
Baby.
Interesting. Okay.
Roll the dice, because I'm a gambling type of guy.
What'd you say the turnaround was for the pressing?
Oh, I'm sorry. The turnaround time for the pressing, they offer for new and moderns 20, 15, and 12 day. Do you want to know the prices?
Okay.
You want to know the prices?
Sure.
Okay. 20 day, they got $15. 15, they got 25, and for 12 day, they got 50. Now, just like their grading process, they have a max declared value, tier, you might say. And at the $7,000 tier, the 12 day is $70 a book.
Jeez.
Okay? But you're also dealing with a $7,000 book, so what's $70 to you, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So that's what I have for CBCS grading process. Tim, you covered PGX. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so PGX, PGXcomics.com. You can go there if that is the grading company you decide to choose. They are the second longest grading. Right, they are the second longest grading company that's out there right now. CGC is the first, PGX was the second, CBCS was the third, and EGS is the newest one.
New kid on the block.
Yeah, so I've got the website here. PGX, obviously, they have the submissions. They also offer comic book pressing and cleaning, and they do offer signature authentication as well. So as far as turnaround time for PGX goes, their modern is 1978 to current, and that is $14 per book. And I do believe that's for the press and clean as well. Anything pre-1978 is $25 per book. Turnaround time, standard is 40 business days. Express is 12 business days. And they do have a next day service of 3 business days. Next day of 3 business days.
So that would be like CGC's walkthrough.
Yeah. And each tier that you go for turnaround time obviously increases in price per service. Let's see here. Pros. I think that PGX has recently gone through kind of a restructure, and I think that is incredibly necessary, and we'll get into that in a minute. But their new cases look way more professional than I think definitely than they used to be, and I think that they are on par with professional look that CBCS has for their older stuff. CBCS's newer labels look, I think, better than their old stuff, but PGX's current new labels is a mixture between CBCS and CGC. They've kind of taken what they thought was the best of both and kind of mixed them together.
Well, that's cool.
And I like the way that it looks. I think it looks really awesome. Their prices are affordable. And if you're looking to get into grading as a new hobby, and they're books that you want for display only, that's personal opinion on my part, but I think general community, how they feel about it is the same too. If you want these books specifically for display to show off to people, I think PGX is a great company to do that with. If it's just display only, as far as cons go, there's a laundry list, and it's something that
Dirty laundry.
yeah, it's something that they've tried really hard to get past, but this is that black cloud that just will not go away. So they have a very poor history that continues to loom over the company. Books that get graded, like books that get sent in, sometimes don't get sent back the same that they were before. The big story.
Ouch.
Yep,
Yeah.
the big story is the Ninja Turtles book. I think Ninja Turtles 2 or 3. That was a first printing that was sent into PGX, and they got back a fourth printing or something like that in
Who
return.
in
And
the
they're like,
world would have that book? Never mind.
well,
I'm not gonna.
this was when PGX was brand new, and
Okay.
competition between CGC and PGX was pretty hot.
Gotcha.
But this one event kind of plummeted PGX down to the bottom of the barrel of grading, and they just have not been able to recover from that. But books that do get graded by PGX, a lot of people use it as a comparison tool, and they immediately crack them and send them into a much more reputable company like CBCS or CGC. But the thing is PGX grades cannot be trusted overall, especially for resale value by the community as a whole. So a 9.8 PGX is usually 2 or more grades lower in CGC standards. CBCS, I don't know. But people have done that, and they've gotten a 9.8 from PGX and sent it to CGC, and it gets down to like an 8.5 or 9.2.
I can actually attest to that because I had a PGX Green Lantern book that was a 7.0.
Yeah.
And it came back as a 5 CGC.
Yeah, that's a significant drop.
So let me ask you this. So let's say you're perusing eBay, right? And let's say you come across a PGX graded X-Men 266, right? First, and the PGX graded at, I don't know, who cares?
9.2.
9.2.
We'll say the 9.2,
right?
Yeah.
But let's say, do you think it could be a good strategy? That's on bid, right? So for sure that bid ain't going to go up nearly as high as it would if it was a CGC or CBCS book. I wonder if it's a good strategy to bid on that book, try to get it super cheap, knowing that when you get it, it's when you get it, let's say you win it and you win it for $100.
Here's my opinion on that. So what I think is that if you bid on a PGX books, now we're getting into personal opinion here.
Yeah,
if you bid on a PGX books, I think that you should bid according to raw price, not graded price.
I agree.
Because the grades on PGX books, especially older books, cannot be trusted.
Okay.
And PGX has not proven that their grades are equal in comparison to at least CBCS. CGC is the standard, but
so it could be neat to get a really very cool key book for a cheap price. Well, cheap-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it could. I guess it all depends, but yeah. And then you send
you're
that
rolling the dice
off. Yeah, it's a roll.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
It's one of those things where be careful, but if the price is right, grab a hold of it. But
I'm going to roll the dice, and Yeah, I'm going to roll the dice, and I'm going to take a book that is not worth much and send it into PGX and see what they do.
Very
Wes,
cool.
you and I are going to look over it. Sal will look over it, and if I think it's going to come back as a 9.8 candidate, I'll shoot it out there, and I'll do their fast track, their express,
I'll do
12
you one
business
better,
days.
Tim.
Ooh.
I've got a bunch of little 9.8s floating around here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I've got a couple like 9.4s and 9.6s that are not worth a whole lot because I sent them in because they were spec books and they never panned out.
Yeah.
Right. So I've got a few of those. Why don't we crack that sucker and we'll send it off to PGX, see what happens.
I'm good with that because
I'm
it's
cool with it
already.
because I mean, I've got 4 or 5 of them sitting over there.
They're already graded CGC.
They're graded
so let's
CGC.
see.
One of them is a 9.0, so that's perfect.
And
right?
we'll see what PGX does with that in return.
And we'll see what happens. Wouldn't that be neat?
Yep.
Let's
That'd
do
be
that
amazing.
as a test.
Okay, sounds
love
good
it.
to me.
And
Let's do
Sal, now that I think would be a good show eventually one day too. Have you ever cracked a book?
Yes, I have actually. I have a video
Okay.
on it on my channel.
Oh, I've never done it,
Mhm.
so we'd have to be careful. But yeah, we can do
So-
that, man.
I've cracked 2 books. One where the case was completely cracked because of whatever. I think I won the book in an auction that was like really cheap, and it was like to specify cracked slab.
Right.
So I actually used that book in my video and cracked it all the way open and got it out of the box, out of the case.
Awesome.
I did not send it back in because I already had one graded, and I just happened to. It was like in a lot that I was winning, so it came with it. So that was
But
fine.
as far as PGX goes, that's
sorry.
no, that's okay. That's the main information that I have. Their signature verification again. The con is that looming history that they have, and just the things that they offer are difficult to trust.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's
And that's a shame because they're really a reputable company when it comes to other things.
yeah.
Just
Other things, just not comic books.
Just not comic books. I mean, really.
Not Teenage Mutant
And
Ninja Turtles.
let's be honest, the comic book community is we're a fickle bunch.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's also the thing with PGX about the Fantastic Four book that was graded at a 7.5 PGX, and guy bought it for $10,000, cracked it, sent it into CGC, and it came back at a 5, and he tried to sue PGX for a breach of contract.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's a story for another day, though.
Yeah, let's do that on a future episode.
Yeah.
We can talk about horror stories and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So in that light, we could I think we could wrap up this show. One, don't forget to check out our sponsor WGG and use the code word CodeX with a hyphen to save 10% off that order. And also, you want to check out Heroscornercomics.com and check out their slab pile, their slab inventory. And if you use the word CodeX, CODEX, no hyphen, you can save 20% on their order as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you. Once again, I'm Sal the Slab Guy. I'm on YouTube at Sal's Comic Corner. Over to this side of me is Wes, the Rebel Scum. Tell us, Wes, where can people find you?
You can find me on eBay, Rebel Scum Comics and Collectibles, or if you are in the area, I have a booth set up in Sweetwater, Tennessee at Sweetwater Antiques. Come on by, see me. Come check out some cool stuff.
Awesome. And Tim, where can they find you?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am all over the CodeX station. Our socials are at the CodeX station. All you got to do is type it in. That's where we will be. I'm on the podcast. I'm on After Dark, decoding panels, breaking the code, reviews, so much more. I'm everywhere. So yeah, all you got to do is be right here. Hit the like, share, subscribe, and follow. So that way we can do more long form content like this all the time, every time.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining me, and I hope you guys have a 9.8 day.